And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, everybody had a fantastic weekend. I'm starting this at about 2:03 Central, which means we're only about 2 hours away from a little Monday football. Double games. I know I'm excited. We got Tuesday football, we got Thursday football, all as we get closer and closer day by day to getting onto the NBA season. So, what I'm here to do today, we're going to do the cash lineup review from this week. And then you're not going to have a lot of time to watch it, obviously. But if you're getting it in time, I'll throw a couple of overlay picks out there for the matchup shop and just kind of talk through those real quick. So hopefully everybody was profitable this week. I know most of us won cash lineups. I did have one alternative lineup that was kind of right on the cash line. So hopefully you guys went with the better material, but we will see how that goes. All right. As you can see by this picture, Devonta was a part of the plan this weekend. And of course, we got the current promotions rolling right now. After we did have a rough 2019 and back half of 2018, after years and years of, in my opinion, giving out the best cash game information in NFL for the DFS world, hit a rough patch for about a year and a half. All that good luck we had been getting for years turned into a lot of bad luck. So it evens out, right? Like you get super lucky for a while, then you get unlucky for a while. It doesn't just work week by week. But now we've been back on the winning ways this year. I know I've got a bunch of customers that are 10-3 on cash lineups this year. Get in for the rest of the NFL season, only $49, guys. You can pay through the website. I'll reimburse you the extra $20. Otherwise, if you just want to pay manually through the PayPal or the Venmo address below, $49 will get you all the playoffs and the rest of the regular season. Okay. Also on top of that, we got 2 spots left open on the $60 tier for NBA. It's a one-time payment, gets you the full NBA season. And then again, we're going to get into overlay after this. All the overlay promotion deposit stuff is still up for your liking if you are so interested. So what did we do yesterday? This is a $25 double up. I always enter a few of those every single weekend. I don't know, just pick this one for no real rhyme or reason. They all kind of finished around the same, which is right around that top 10% threshold. So there's 6,900 entries in this one. We finished in 668, tied with a few customers who had the exact same lineup. I was pretty precise on who it was we were looking for this week. So if you went this route, you probably won fairly easily. If you went with the backup route, it was not as easy of a win. You probably would have ended up right on the money because the alternative picks at defense and tight end were terrible. They were just bad. So this is all it really comes down to. So starting at the top, Aaron Rodgers was the play at quarterback all week. He really didn't have a great game. Philly ate the ball a lot early. You know what I mean? Like they took down most of the time possession in the first quarter. Then he didn't need to throw a lot later. A couple of big drop balls by Marquez Valdes-Scantling on top of that. Devonta just missed his first touchdown by an inch. So could have been better, but all in all, Aaron Rodgers at like half ownership was the playing cash games. He was fine. Our backup GPP quarterbacks this weekend, Baker Mayfield and Derek Carr, were better. Should have gone with that in hindsight, but you know what they say it is about hindsight. It's 2020. So we'll just live with the basic points that Aaron Rodgers gave us. I mean, again, he was cheap. It was a decent spot for him because every time he's at home, it's pretty much a decent spot, and he was just fine. All right, after that, we had to start making some decisions. And I'm going to go down to Kiki Kute. Big help for us yesterday, 25 points. He was really, really good. Brought him up on the show for everybody last week, so a lot of you guys hopefully were able to take advantage of that. He was a big part of being able to win this weekend because he was fantastic. For 25 points, he outscored Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb. I think he was right there with Dalvin Cook, about the same number of points. It was a big help to get that cap space and to get those points. So Kiki Kute was the hardest of all the hard recommends. I said this is just a guy you just play in your lineups and roll with. So he was wonderful. And then we get down to the running back position, and Eckler was not great. Overall, the Chargers were just terrible yesterday. I was pretty firm that I was going Gaskin, Montgomery, and Austin Eckler at running back. Eckler was trash. The Chargers were trash. Anthony Lynn seems like a good guy, but he's a bad coach. Just wrong. I mean, just call it like it is. Just wrong on that one. David Montgomery was, 50% plus owned for a reason. This is a pretty obvious play, in my opinion. I was almost a little surprised he wasn't more popular. I was very bullish that he was a significantly better play than Devontae Booker, so I feel good about that. But Austin Eckler was, obviously a lot of money for a guy who was really, really bad, so got that one wrong. And then Myles Gaskin was pretty blah. He was a little bit more than Devontae Booker at about the same ownership, but much, much better than Booker at least. Gaskin wasn't great, but he was a lot better than Booker. What I think is also important and worth noting is that Gaskin missed, like he had a couple of touches inside the red zone. So going forward with Miami, I think that's worth noting. So all in all, the running backs were fine. You know what I mean? Like Montgomery was really good. Austin Eckler was terrible. Gaskin was okay. We did fine at the running back position. Didn't really set us up in a position to win or lose. Just kind of was what it was. And we kind of go on from there. At which point, when my boy Brad and I, who do the cash lineup videos every single week, talked this one over for our customers, we landed on Devonta Adams for the simple reason we did not like the wide receiver position in the slightest. We were pretty bullish on Kiki Kute. And then we ended up on Adams because all this running back value came out. So looking at Chubb, Cook, and Derrick Henry just didn't seem like things for us. You know what I mean? Like there was good running backs and wide receiver was weak in our opinion, at least as far as what you could count on. So we went with Adams and he was wonderful. And thank you, Devonta Adams. He's always a main focal point of the Packers offense. So thank you, Devonta. That was really, really good. And then after that, we'll just continue down the theme of we did not like the wide receiver position this week. So Cooper Kupp was okay. The cash line this week was about 150. So you needed about a 3-to-1 return on your investment for the money you spent on somebody. Putting Cooper Kupp a couple points below what you were looking for, but ultimately doesn't ruin your lineup, especially when you get the other two wide receivers right. So that's where we were. And then I had to make a decision on defense and tight end. And when the tight end stuff became available, we had Ferkser at the minimum filling in for Jonnu Smith against a not great defense that gave up the fourth most points to DFS for tight ends. So Ferkser made a lot of sense. But I was also kind of looking at Kyle Rudolph. And Kyle Rudolph has been very good the other times this year when Irv Smith wasn't out. And I like picking on Jacksonville as well. Ultimately, I was a little on the fence on this one and then kind of found out Ferkser would be more popular Sunday morning. So I was going to go there. And then I talked it over with my boy Brad. And we kind of made the decision together. So I told Brad that I would blame him if it didn't go well. Obviously, I'm kidding. As somebody who's been blamed for other people's DFS fails before, you don't really want to do that. And I was just messing around with him. But, Ferkser was fine. 10 points off of 2,500. You'll take that every single week when it allows you to get up to better players. And then as far as defense goes, it was either Seattle or the Saints. And went with Seattle because it was Colt McCoy. And Colt McCoy, you don't trust. Now, again, they went out and won the game. Seattle's defense was pretty popular. They've been getting a lot of pass rush lately, and they were fine. The alternative lineup of Kyle Rudolph and punting defense was terrible because I was thinking about punting with the Chargers, which were awful. Not really 100% the fault of the defense. That was more bad turnovers and bad coaching mistakes. But all in all, you don't really care. And I believe that lineup, because of the loss of almost the full 19 points, depending on which double up you in, you could have finished right out of the money, which would have been really, really painful. So hopefully too many people didn't do that and stuck with Ferkser Seahawks because that was obviously the better move for, a pretty easy win. And it was a very stressless day in the sense that like David Montgomery got going early. Kiki Kute got going early. Those guys were big. They were like the two best plays we had outside of Adams. So they got going early. And then other than Devonta Adams, like nobody else really did much. So it was maybe a little closer than you would have liked. But the big days from Kute and, David Montgomery were very, very helpful in this one. So, I don't know if that helps anybody try to make their decisions come Sunday morning and how they want to finalize their lineups. But I think the couple of things that I want to continue to point out right here, Kiki Kute was a lock. I played him in every single lineup because he was now a team that we knew would have to pass the ball. And he's a number 2 wide receiver, but still running most of his routes out of the slot for a very, very good quarterback. And I brought that up with him all week long. I expected about 15, wasn't expecting 25, of course, and they'll take that, but that's about what I expected. I figured he would go for like 9 for 60, 7 for 80, something like that. So we're more than happy with this. It was better than we expected. But that was why I thought like that was kind of a lock. And then the big decision here came with Devonta Adams. And this doesn't necessarily influence the fact that Adams was good this week. But what I liked about it more than anything was the fact that, I talked about how I liked Nick Chubb earlier in the week. Okay, I did, but we had all this running back availability. And even though I thought Booker was not a good pick, I understood why people liked him. It's just you can't really run in the Jets very well. So that's why it was a big part of it. And it's Devontae Booker. So having all these guys at running back you could use it was much easier to get off of the high-priced running backs, and then we had all this money at wide receiver because we already had QT locked in, or Kiki Kute locked in, and then just going Cup and Adams seemed pretty easy. So that's that, guys. I'm going to roll over to overlay real quick, and we'll just talk about that. If you can, slide your thumb over to the thumbs up button. Always appreciate when you guys click on that. Helps us a ton, more than you guys even realize probably. All right, let's roll into the matchup shop for today. Been winning a lot on DraftKings lately. I have not been winning on overlay the last couple of weeks, though. Made some bigger bets on ones that I really liked that did not turn out. So got to take a step back for a day or two. Calm your cool, and then we'll get right back at it. We got NFL coming up, or NBA coming up real soon. We're going to crush it on the matchup shop this year. I love the matchup shop over here at Overlay. The name of the website is overlaydfs.com. I got their Twitter link below because we can't share website links like that on YouTube or they will shut her down. All right, Deontay Johnson versus Chase Claypool. This is a tough one. And what I mean by that is, in this game right here, I like Deontay Johnson on DraftKings. But on Overlay, we're talking about a half-point PPR website, and Claypool is the touchdown catcher. So getting the point, I am going to go Chase Claypool on this one because I expect like 8 and 100 from Deontay Johnson, which should be like good for 21 DK points. For Claypool, but that 21 points on DK is more just like 14 right here. For Claypool, I figure more like 5 for 60 and a touchdown, which is like 17. That's, trust me, this is not an exact science, but I'm also getting a point, so I'll take Chase Claypool right here. All right, next up, I got Ebron versus Juju. I bet this one last time out when we had the game against the Ravens, and Ebron was winning the whole game until Juju caught that late touchdown. Still won DraftKings that day, but it made it super close, and that is the hard part about these shorter slates is they can swing so quickly. And it's just flat out such a roller coaster ride of emotions. So I'm going to go Ebron again, though. He had like 3 drops last game, which is not unusual for him, but he's going to hit pay dirt this week, so give me Eric Ebron. All right, next up, Alex Smith, Antonio Gibson. So against a better team, this one would be easy. Or against a not having a very good track record of speaking today. Against a poorer team, I would pick Gibson here plus the points, easy peasy. But I am actually going to go Alex Smith. And I think that they get stuck early having to throw. I think Pittsburgh does play better today and win this game by at least 10 points. And at that point, it's more of a J.D. McKissic day. So I'm going to take Alex Smith, even minus the 2.5. But I like the other picks better as currently constructed. Next up, we got Roethlisberger versus Benny Snell. So I'm going to try to extrapolate this one out in my mind real quick. 24, 80. Give me Benny Snell. He's going to score today. I'll take Benny Snell. And it's close, though, but give me Benny Snell on this one. I'm definitely going to run a parlay when we're done. And then we got Scary Terry versus Logan Thomas. So hear me out on this one. Scary Terry is awesome. I am a monster Terry McLaurin fan, but he's a little banged up today. And he's in a bad spot against the Pittsburgh team that's really, really good. I think Logan Thomas goes for maybe 40 yards, 3 catches, for about 5.5, which would give us about a 12.5 points right there. Then will they keep McLaurin under 12.5? Yes. I'm going to go Logan Thomas. I just have to make like projections in my mind when I'm thinking about this. Now, I'm going to be full out with you guys. This is not one where I am saying with like great confidence. Not that, great confidence picks always work out. But this is not the day around my dude, you got to put your money in. But what I will say is let's run some parlays and have some fun because I always have fun playing on the matchup shop. And if there's nothing I love, sure. Maybe I don't put $100 on one pick, but maybe I run a couple of $10 parlays, just try to hit one of them. So that's what I'll be doing when I get done here is running some parlays. They're a little bit more fun, right? Because you have the opportunity to win big. And of course, they hit at a much lower success rate. So that's how I view it today, guys. I want to wish you all the best of luck. Those deals are still available. Let's go win some money today, fellas.